Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. Microphone. Can you hear me? Okay. So my name is Ania Nałęcka, and I will try to talk about my own experience. I will just say about my experience about saying it more specifically. It's about working with another creative person, because it's like this is a meeting between photographer, someone who is working usually for a few years on the project, and meeting with the designer, and the designer has a task to translate the project into the book in this specific task. So the first thing I want to say is like the meeting with the two creative people, like the visually involved creative people, and I will try to go through this process, and what I think from my experience it's interesting or kind of more specific for the photo book, because of course we are in this book world, but this photo book work is even as kind of niche. From my experience, it's like it's really about listening. It's like what I said before. It's like I'm meeting with the photographer who worked on the project, on the story for, I don't know, last 5 years. What I already said, and for me, what's really very, very important is to understand what's the story about, because this is my task to translate it. Yes. I usually use this expression that I'm a wall for the photographer, because I'm the wall you can project, because usually I'm the one of the first person that someone talks to and talks about the project and have to verbalize all the story, and also to confront, because it's like I ask questions, I have my doubts. I ask question why, which people usually can understand as some kind of arrogant, but it's just I'm just trying to understand why this decision, why that decision, why this topic, and so on. So what I really like after these few books I made, what I really based on as a graphic designer is on this question, because of course I listen a lot, but also I ask questions. It's what's above all the materials what I have. So it's really something that when I'm working on the book, I really based on it. So this is one of the first books I worked with Rafał Milach in 2009, and it was the book when I learned how to talk to the photographers. I will just go very quickly through it. It's a very geographical project. It's about Ukrainian shoreline of the Black Sea. It's called Black Sea of Concrete, and it's very, I would say, very documentary approach. But during the talks, what I found out and was the starting point for the design was the constant presence of the sea in the landscape, of course, but also in the people's life. So we created the horizon, which it's like with the typography, this is pagination, and this is the name of the city. And it goes through all the stories, and of course there are some texts, and the texts it's kind of illustrative, but it's of course it's just stressing and underlining this sea, presence of the sea. And this is the most important thing usually I ask to the photographer. It's why make a photo book, because it's just a medium. Yeah, it's like, of course we are very in love with the books, but it's just another medium we can use. And also we start with this because, of course, with the great, I find it very liberating for myself, because, of course, it gives the respect of the context of the medium, like the whole medium of the book. So you don't have to be so stressed that you are not invent something new, because everything was invented already. And on the other hand, it really cuts out your arrogance. So it's like you are reminding yourself that you are really in a great landscape of all the books that was made before you. For me, it's like one of the basic things I work with. It's to finding the main idea. It's like, what's the story about? Sorry. And it's like it's said that it's the picture stands for the 1,000 words, but really for me to work on a project, on an image project, it's like the content. It's mostly the images. It's find those, let's say, 3 words. There are this word the most. Of course, it doesn't mean that we reject all the others, but it's really to find these 3 main words. And it's really, for me, it's really helping. And it really helps, like, all the way through the process of making the book, like, really finding when we are finding for the concept, and we are really looking for all these little details, like the proportions, like image text, what kind of text, and coming further to the choice of paper, the kind of binding, and it's like we're really coming from these 3 words that when we establish them in the beginning very precisely, that it's really helpful. Yes, so this is the other thing. I don't know. It's like in a photo book word. It's like everyone is repeating it, and I think narrative is like a key word for all the curatorial texts lately. Of course, it's obvious. Yeah, the book was, for me, book was invented to tell a story. But for me, what it's interesting lately when I work with the photographers, so how the story is told. So it's really like coming back to the screenwriting and really about dramaturgy and really how to tell the story. It's a book by Mark Power, a British photographer. Die Mauer ist weg. And we started with the book because he just wanted to come back to his own archives, to the time that he was on the time that he just wanted to quit photography. And last time he just, okay, let's try something. I will go to Berlin. I will try to go to the East Berlin and maybe do some story. And the exact night that he came to Berlin, the wall was down. So it's about really coincidence, about luck, and it's really about, and for me it's really like a love letter to photography. So a part of this historical context, yeah, what I said, but it's like, it's really about, not only about the historical event, but when we work on it, and it's, when he sent me photos and we start working on it, there was this photo there. And I asked Mark, by any chance, do you have maybe the issue of the newspaper? And he said, yes. So we just printed like how it was on the covers. So it's like the inside, the first, the second, the last, and the previous last. And the book, I have it also here if you want to see. The book is like the real size of the newspaper, and the inside is slightly smaller because we want to have a time frame for the event. Because, like, I know it's a very bad reference, but it's like when someone is kidnapped and they send the video to the family. Usually, you show the one who was kidnapped. She shows the newspaper as a evidence of the date. Yeah, so that was the idea, that we are really in a precise time. But it's really about looking someone's personal approach to the medium of photography, and it's really about, yeah, it has a beautiful text written by Mark. So it's and we can see the bingo numbers of this special day, if you want. Yeah, and for me, what I found interesting for myself, working on these photo books, it's that book is some kind of form of construction, and of course it's also I call it like a small architecture, because all the pages has to be bound, and there's cover, and how cover is connected to the rest, and so on and so on, that they have to work in a way because it's a material thing. But for me it's also construction between elements, and they're all somehow connected. And when we, for example, move one of them, it's like it affects the other. So it's really like, in a way, it's really like a carving or a shaping something. Yes, it's not only the material part, but also the conceptual part. So yeah, so I think that's all. Yeah. Thank you very much.
And the question is, during the process of creation, how you choose the material, paper, board, cloth? Do you know from the beginning what materials should be, or you do experiments, or you do some trials? How you choose it?
It's what I said is like when we have this more or less what the story is about and how to tell it, it's, you know, the decisions would be some kind of logical, like in a way, yeah. But I do a lot of, I always try to make a dummy and to see how it sits in the hand and the weight and everything. It's, yeah, there are some, you know, in this very, how to say, formal, because for example, this book, I didn't mention this, if you want to touch it, but now I will spoil it. It's like the cover is made of sandpaper. So it's like, for example, with this book, we knew from the beginning that the cover we want from the sandpaper because it's kind of heavy, it's like a stone, yeah, and it's not very nice and it's really, you cannot put it on a shelf because it has to have a special place. But it's, yeah, but I never start with the, okay, whatever story you have, I saw such a nice paper lately, and we have to do this on this paper. No, never. It's like, I would never start from the formal solution and then try to fit it to the whatever story we are trying to tell. Yeah, so it's, yeah, but it's, I do a lot of trials, I do a lot of dummies, and yeah. It's like I spend a lot of time with my bookbinder. We are not that much friends because I'm kind of I'm an awful client, yeah, but I spend a lot of time.
I want to ask about this target group you are making books for. Do you have any information? How do they see all things you have done?
A target group. It's like we have this saying among us photo book words, small one, that we are, the economy, you know, it works because we are just buying the books from each other. So it's like, it's really like a bubble. So it's really, I made a book, you make a book, it's like, it's for now, the economy is some kind of balance. I don't know what's happened then, but, and of course everybody says, okay, we have to go from the bubble. It's like, okay, we are meeting like the same 20 people all the time, all over the world. So I'm very happy that I was invited here because I have this feeling that I have some other audience. And I'm a little bit in a different context, but it's, yeah, so this is how it works, like, frankly. I hope it's going to change, and because I think the stories and the photos are really interesting. And yeah, but personally, when I work, it's like I have this approach that I'm really doing the book for the photographer, for the artist. I'm not thinking about, you know, specific group of people or the audience of the books or something like this. I'm really, because it's really, I really believe in this connection with this author of the story, because all the information comes from the person, even if it's not personal story, even if it's some kind of objective thing, social issue or whatever. But it's that was this person that was interested in this topic, not the other one. So it's really, you know, really trying to, so I really think about this person, because this person has to be happy, I have to be comfortable with this. I cannot do something, I cannot make a book that someone doesn't have a connection with, because it's something not his or hers. So it's, this is how I work. I'm not thinking about, maybe I should, maybe it would be wiser and more, I don't know, realistic to think about, okay, what audience we have and what people expect. And yeah, but this is how I work, yeah.